My husband abandoned me and our 4 kids for a 19-year-old escort. I went to Trader Joe's to buy myself a bag of groceries, swiped my card, and it was declined. I should have had a ton of money in that account, and it was all gone. It was gone. My name had never been on one of our homes. My name hadn't been on our vehicles. My name wasn't on the Mercedes that I was driving at the time that our marriage ended. He was able to evict me from the condo that we were renting together because I didn't even exist on the lease, not even as a roommate, not even as a pet. He just canceled the lease. I was just some weirdo living in the condo that Jake had canceled, and so the apartment evicted me. I'd always kind of thought in my head too, like, being a homemaker gives me a lot of skills that I bet would translate into a job. So I right away put together a resume, talked about all of the work that I had done in our family businesses, and went out and started interviewing for jobs. And there was not a person in this entire world who wanted to hire a 44, 45, 46-year-old who had been a stay-at-home mom since the time she was 20. So my first and actually only job that I had after my divorce was $11 an hour, working as an assistant in an elementary school classroom 4 hours a day. If you did the math, $44 a day. The only reason that my rent is paid this month is, first of all, my TikTok followers are constantly supporting my content, and I have 3 separate jobs: sales job, furniture flipping business, and I'm still working my Mormon essential oils MLM. I work 7 days a week. I have no retirement. I live in a family member's guest house that they could sell at any moment. I've only existed in the credit world for about 4 years, so I can't finance anything. And it just kind of pisses me off that I went into my marriage thinking that I had a 100% success rate. I didn't have an exit strategy. I didn't have any way to support myself if things went south, and here I am. So I've been living this out on camera for the past 3 years, and I don't plan to go anywhere. I'll keep you posted. Let's see how it ends. Would have been better if I had made different decisions in the beginning, and I wish that somebody had told 20-year-old me that a man is not a plan. Never has been, never will be.
So tread wife is basically the shortening for traditional wife, which basically means that a married woman who embraces the traditional gender roles in her home. So the homemaking and of course taking care of the kids full time, and she does that while supporting her husband, who is usually the primary breadwinner. This has been like a rabbit hole thing now, trending on the TikTok, of course, and of course, I gathered a few creators here to share their thoughts and opinions on it. But as per usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions by sounding off in the comment section below. Also remember to like the video, and if you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe for more content like these. Let's get into today's video.
A lot of these trad wives are in my comments talking about, my man loves me, he would never do that to me. Lucifer loved God. He still betrayed him. That's the thing. You can't be like, my man would never, my man would never, my man would never. Check the comments. These men be never in like a I mean, honestly. And the institution of marriage, I am married. I've been married for 7 years to a wonderful, equal partner who is an amazing guy, an amazing dad. But I'm not stupid enough to not have a job, because if he left me tomorrow, I don't want to have to rebuild my life. Just saying. I don't want to have to rebuild my life. It's one thing to have confidence in your partner, and I do have a high degree in confidence with my partner and of my partner, but I'm not delusional, and I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not a fool. I understand that things happen. People change. Life is a constant motion of evolving. People are always evolving. So why would I put my trust in a man? And what these young trad wives don't understand is that you are a choice to that man. And he can make a choice to keep you, or he can make a choice to leave you. And the fact that you are willing to gamble your life and your 40s and your 50s and your 60s on being a choice for a man, girl, God bless you.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are here to discuss about an important topic, especially that is happening today, and the traditional setup of how we perceived marriage and women, and just generally husband roles and relationship. are coming to a lot of changes because society is subject to change. Everything is dynamic. And you find that many ex-trade wives, especially traditional wives who focused on the traditional life by staying at home and just leaving the husband to work. Of course, there's no problem with that, even if some people are still practicing it today. Sometimes like a lot of things happen in the family and there are a lot of changes that comes. And so we have people who are ex-traditional wives, ex-trad wives, who are trying to advise you to, even if you're trying to be a traditional wife, it's okay, but you need to take precaution of the following. They are sharing their experiences, and I hope that this is something that we can discuss. And I know I'm a man, and getting into this topic, it's important because I'm also getting to learn and seeing the perspective of how these ex-traditional wives says, sharing the experiences and lessons that they could share to their fellow women. And there are a couple of reasons that they face that makes them have a lot of these challenges. For example, lack of financial independence, limited legal protection, changing expectation, emotional dependency, and difficulty in re-entering the workforce because the long-term being staying in home. For example, maybe the husband has died, there is no business that you have, there's nothing like you're doing for yourself, and you find yourself in a difficult position. Buckle up for this video. This is your presenter, Debunking Stories, and if you're watching this video for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe, like, and you can check out my Cash App account if you want to buy me some coffee. I'll really appreciate only if you can. Now, let's dive right into the video. I'll be back with my commentary, as you know how we usually do.
A trad wife is short for traditional woman. She has no vested interest outside of the home. All she want to do is make sure her husband is good, her house is good, and her kids is good. She want to do that in a 1950s, 60s outfit with a full face of makeup. Okay, girl. So when I said it was getting juicy, bitch, it was getting juicy. A woman took to Reddit and said her and her husband in 12 years started having problems because he fell upon trad talk. Actually became a little bit obsessed. So she said at first, they was doing everything together. He worked, she worked, they split chores, they split childcare, whatever. Then he fell on this idea that she should be more submissive. So she said he started complaining more and more and more. Bitch, he started comparing her to the bitches online and his homeboy's wife, who is a stay-at-home wife. She said, stop comparing me to all these bitches online because I'm your wife. You should be idolizing me. She said he then got verbally abusive and told her she don't look good, she don't cook good, she don't clean good, all that shit, bitch. You know what happened next? She found out the mother having an online affair. And he was in love with one of the bitches that on here that creates trad talk. I have a good mind of who it was. I tagged her. He didn't understand, or what he does not understand, they're getting a divorce, by the way. What he doesn't understand is trad wives signed up to be trad wives. You can't force nobody to do shit they don't want to do. It has to be an agreement. And some of the women that are doing the trad talk online, they are cosplaying, and it's borderline kink at this point. So you got to take your glasses off, sir. Go find you somebody that wants to do that. Don't verbally abuse the bitch you already with. But that's all I know.
I'm here to tell you why that whole trad wife trend is absolute bullcrap. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine who has been married for about 15 years now. Before she got married, she got a master's degree in education and a law degree. She met her husband in law school. He wanted a traditional wife. She did not take the bar, and instead they got married. He took the bar, he passed the bar, he became a lawyer, and she became a full-time housewife and later a mom. Times 5. They have 5 children. Okay, fast forward 15 years, where he has been cheating on her for years. She finally caught him red-handed. She has enough confidence and determination to say, I want a divorce, I'm done. He's walking away with a $300,000+ job that he got, by the way, from one of her mom friends in a mom group. Let's just put that aside. She has nothing. She has 2 advanced degrees, 0 experience. So are they even worthwhile? Are they even worth anything? She has nothing to show for it. And in the last 15 years, what has changed in law and in education? Probably quite a bit. So she is stuck at this crossroads of feeling like she has nothing. And before you say alimony, he is trying to screw her out of everything he possibly can. She cannot keep the house, even though she has primary custody of the children. She can't afford it. She has no job. Absolutely no job right now. And even if she did, there are 5 children. So between drop-offs and pickups at 4 different schools, she has about 3 hours in the daytime when she is not tending to children. So to any woman who is considering that the trad wife lifestyle might be it for you, I encourage you to think about this story. Remember it. And just remember that you as a woman need to have something for yourself. If anything, just for yourself. Because you absolutely never know what can happen in life, whether it be divorce, whether it be cheating, whether it be the passing away of your spouse. You have to take care of yourself and put yourself first. You can still love and support your husband and be an incredible wife who takes care of your man, but take care of yourself first.
So this is love.
Alright, I saw this video like most people several days ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since. This video really struck a chord with me because it's what happened to me. I am 27. I got divorced at 26 after I had done the trad wife thing. I got married at 19. I had 3 babies. And I was a stay-at-home mom. I dropped out of college. I didn't have a job. So at 20, we separated when I was 25. So at 25 years old, I had nothing. I didn't have an education. I didn't have a work history. Because of those 2 things, when we went to court over custody of our kids, he was able to point to those. He asked me for the divorce. He fought for custody of the kids. Given I had stayed home and taken care of these kids as my full-time situation for 6 years. And he was able to say, you know, she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have an education. She lives with her mom and dad. She can't take care of these kids, and he got primary custody of our kids. And so every video that I see now of trad wives and people idealizing this lifestyle, it makes my heart break. It like hits a chord with me because I did everything right. I did all the things you were supposed to do. Stay home and raise your babies and do all of that. And in the end, I got left out on my ass with nothing. I did not get my kids. I did not have a job. It was very difficult for me to get a job when you don't have a work history or an education. Very hard to get a job that can pay your bills when you do that. And so when I first saw this video, I literally have not been able to stop thinking about it because this is real life. This can happen to you. You know, thinking, oh, he's my husband, whatever, may not protect you in the long run. Like, when you have nothing. So this is like a PSA to women that like that can happen to you. I know there's a lot of misconceptions out in the world that like, oh, moms always get custody, judges default to moms. Well, the fact of the matter is, like, if you have just been a mom this whole time and he fights for those kids, he puts up a fight, he has everything in his favor because he has the financial means to raise children and you don't. When he puts you out, like what happened to me. So just think about that, ladies. Think about the reality of that because it's literally heartbreaking and it's so hard to build your life up after.
This is going to be controversial, but when it comes to the trad wife at 20 to single mom at 40 pipeline, y'all really have no one but yourselves to blame. What do y'all think the second wave feminist movement was all about? The grannies been told us. The aunties been told us. Our grandmothers had to fight the U.S. government to get bank accounts. And barely even 50 years later, y'all are voluntarily giving them up because Connor from English 101 told you he was going to love you forever. What? Y'all, please BFFR. We are so much smarter than this, ladies. Do not trust the relationship decisions you make at a time where your boobs are fully developed, but your brain is not. When you let a man have complete and total financial control over you, he will always eventually At the end of the day, they're always going to have the mindset of, well, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. The entire stability of your life cannot rely on a man that you marry in your 20s wanting you for the next 60 years. And vice versa, because the tea is, what happens when you wake up and you don't want him anymore? What happens when you're ready to walk away, but you have no job experience, no bank account, nothing, because your entire future relied on this guy, this one human being wanting you forever, or you wanting them forever? I love my man down. I would die for that man right now. I truly am in love with him from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head, but I will always love myself more. Always. I'm talking separate bank accounts, prenup, the works. Because when you fail to plan, you're what? Planning to fail. Always remember, if you don't take nothing else away from this conversation, always remember, a man is not a plan. A man is not a plan. A man is not a plan.
When it comes to this whole trad wife conversation, I personally think the husband, the boyfriend, the partner has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with having a great partner who provides for you. And it has everything to do with you. When you are a traditional wife or a trad wife, you are essentially working for free. You don't get to work outside of the home, therefore you don't have a 401k. You are using up all of your earning potentials. 50 jobs that you do in the house are not considered a job outside of your home, so you can't put them on your resume. Years you could have been using building up your resume are now being spent building up your children and building up your household and building up your husband, because when you get to stay at home, he gets to go to work and he gets to advance his career. The problem is leaving yourself behind and leaving yourself unprotected. Because if we're being honest with yourself, anything can happen to your partner's job. Anything can unfortunately happen to your partner to where they're no longer able to provide for you. And we're not talking about people who have invested very well and constantly have income coming in outside of their one partner's income. We're talking about people who are strictly trad wives who rely on that one income and absolutely nothing else. Where trad wives are being portrayed on this app, you're seeing women who said they don't have a bank account, they don't have this, they don't even know what the mortgage is with, they don't even know what their husband is making, or they don't have access to their husband's bank account. That is a dangerous way of living, especially when you have kids to worry about. For me personally, when my husband gets paid, I get paid. I 100% believe in absolutely having your own line of credit, having your own 401k, having your own credit cards, your own bank accounts, because you as a stay-at-home mom do have a job. You are working inside the home. The way I look at it, because you trust your husband so much, that he should have no problem making sure that you are able to sustain your lifestyle by yourself, even if he decides today that he doesn't like you. At the end of the day, making sure you have insurance for yourself is not saying you don't trust your partner or you believe something bad is gonna happen. We all have car insurance. Doesn't mean we walk around driving our car into a ditch or into a tree because we have insurance.
This cooking and cleaning thing isn't bad. Like, I just don't understand why women wanted to work.
Cut this shit out. You are working. This framing that there are women who work and there are women who don't work because men have gifted them the opportunity to stay home and cook and clean for them, you're both working. It is fine to want to stay home and do those things, but that is not a gift of no labor. You are both working, and when you're doing it exclusively in the home, you're working with no rights, no protection, no safety net. You're providing services that if you weren't around, that man would have to pay multiple professionals to get, because it's work, it's valuable work. But your job security in doing that is entirely contingent on that man deciding to keep you around. As your youth and your beauty, two things that are very protective of that job security, to a certain point, start to fade. Just because it feels fulfilling and free to not go to work every day does not mean you are free. All of the comments on this video are like, this is feminism. Making a choice of the life you want to live is feminism. No, feminism is collective liberation for all women. Feminism is women having the resources to not have to depend on men. Feminism is freedom from oppression, and freedom from oppression is having choices. Without money coming in that is yours, if that relationship ends, your job ends. You'll have no money, you'll have no resume, you'll have no references, no roof over your head, no unemployment check, you will have no choices but to find another man to support you. You need to make this man be paying you for the services you're providing as if you had a real job, so that if that that marriage ends, you have something to fall back on. Say, if I forgo working outside of the home to stay home and take care of this family, I get this % of everything if we break up. If he says no to some type of agreement like that, then him allowing you to not work is not about letting you have the life that you've always dreamed of. It's about making you dependent on him and exploiting your labor. I'm rewatching Mad Men right now, and I just got to the point where Betty wants to divorce Don because he's been lying and cheating and gaslighting her. And she's been a homemaker for their 2 kids for 10 years. She's also been exploiting the labor of Black women to help her with that, but she has had no work and no money of her own. She goes to a lawyer and she's like, you know, what can I do? And he's like, you should stay married. You'll get no money. He'll probably get the kids because he has all of the resources, and she cannot leave that marriage until she has another man lined up that is willing to fully support her. And she was a rich woman. Her husband was worth millions of dollars, but none of it was hers. And that's the part that you don't see with all these trad wife light videos. It looks lovely and empowering and free to not be some loser feminist who has to go to work until their man changes their mind, or until you change your mind, like, oh my God. And then you will have nothing. He will have all the money you allowed him to make in his career, and he'll get everything he needs from the next woman in line itching to take your place because she was brainwashed by trad wife shit on the internet.
Why is trad wife content suddenly blowing up?
It's become a popular topic because women my age and older that have gotten divorced and thrown decades of their lives down the toilet, doing the laundry and dishes, they're trying to warn you. You and accounts like you are intentionally dancing around the point. We're trying to tell you why this content is harmful. And I sincerely hope that you listen. You are not a traditional wife. You are on the internet and you work. Those of us who are actual stay-at-home moms that were traditional wives and mothers, we didn't have that luxury. There's no 401k in our names. The difference between you and the people that you're trying to make content for, if it's even women at all, which I kind of doubt, is that they are actual stay-at-home traditional wives and you're not a trad wife. You make money on the internet and they don't. If they find themselves a single mom with no 401k and decades missing from their resume with no current skills, no money in the bank, and not even a car in the driveway, their outcome is going to be quite different than yours with you making money from content. For the 12 years that I was a stay-at-home mother, not working at all, I became completely irrelevant in my field of information technology. The technology advanced and I and my skills did not. I didn't pay into Social Security for those years. There's 12 years missing there. And my prospects in the actual W-2 job market looked like this: working in an insurance or IT call center, making not enough money to be able to feed my children. What if your husband dies? The other thing that you're not addressing here is the fact that, this is what makes it quite tone deaf, many families right now have to have 2-income households. And when you tell them it's better to be a stay-at-home mom and show them all the glamour behind it and how wonderful it can be for your children, your husband, your marriage, you're reminding them they can't afford it. One of the particular things that I take issue with in your content is the way that you tell women what to wear. And you even double down on it and say that your daughter will not be able to wear leggings, and you hope in so many words that your son would want to choose a woman who dresses like a lady. Content like this sets us back about 50 years. There might come a day, Estee, if you have children, where you're home with 3 under 3. Little Timmy is sick. The baby's got colic, the toddler finger painted all over the walls, you haven't showered yet, dinner is burning, so you're considering dominoes, and you're going to look back on these days and these content if you don't hire help, and you are going to shake your head because, my dear, you don't know what you're talking about. And I say this with love. There will come a day where he will come home from work and the house will not be clean, dinner will not be homemade, and you will not be wearing that dress. If 2020 showed us anything, it showed us what can happen when an entire family is an illness and what happens to mom. I can tell you I did not rest. All of our children needed to be fed, dishes needed to be done, my kids needed clean underwear, messes needed to be fixed, and I can assure you, no matter how glamorous I look on camera, those were some rough days. When I was 6 months pregnant with my first son, I got walking pneumonia. I tried to look nice during that pregnancy, but there was really no way. In my second son, I had hyperemesis gravidarium. I'm not sure if you know what the feeling of being belly out pregnant, hurling over the toilet 4 to 8 times per day would look like, but I'm assuring you it's not going to look like that. The raw and honest experience of motherhood was standing in a shower the night of my C-section, staples in, gauze around me, and all I wanted was a shower. Skin hanging and sagging, my feet so swollen from the spinal that I looked like I had dinosaur feet, while my husband kindly washed my hair for me because it's all that I wanted. When you get older, and if you have children, you might start to understand that the most beautiful parts about having a family and motherhood and womanhood in general are the parts, indeed, that are not aesthetically beautiful. That if you build your bond with your spouse based on what you look like and being presentable and what you can give him at all times, and the appearance, you're shortchanging yourself. Some of the most beautiful women that I know have been cheated on by their husband that, to me, look beautiful at all times and put together. So as a woman of experience, I can also tell you, as an older woman, that the women that I've known in my life that make such a big deal out of having a perfect and beautiful marriage are generally the ones whose marriages are the most messed up. They don't talk about it. It's like they're trying to convince themselves that things are going well when they're not. You base your marriage on how beautiful you look at all times. What about what happens if he doesn't find you beautiful like that anymore and attractive? Because right now, without a backup plan, without a job, completely submitting yourself to this man with no other anything, this advice that you're giving people, you're basically telling them that their ability to eat and take care of their own children will be based on whether he still loves you tomorrow.
My husband doesn't cook or clean, and he's still an amazing husband. Here's why. He's a provider. He makes sure that all of our bills are paid, that we have all the food that we need, the clothes that we need, and we are always taken care of. Number 2, he cares about my emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. Not just mine, but our babies too. And number 3, he's fun. He loves to take us on little adventures, and he loves to get us little treats and do so many fun things with us.
I want to start this video by saying that I'm not asking for money and I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for is, if you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up. I drove to the grocery store. I need to grab some milk and bread and a couple things, flipped open the bank app on my phone, and I've been sitting in my car crying ever since because I never have enough money. And why do I never have enough money? Because when I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. I never had a career. My only jobs that I ever had in life were a waitress at the Olive Garden and managing a pretzel maker in a mall. Oh, my first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary. My name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board. That's it. I would eventually also launch a custom home building company with my uncle as the architect and my friends as the builder, my designs, my realtor. But again, because my husband was the man, his name was on all of the projects, his name was on the business. I remember one of the last custom homes that I built, we sold it and made about a $260,000 profit. That money all went into his bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I should have said that in the beginning. I never had a bank account. He would give me little envelopes of cash to go grocery shopping with. Anyway, that house sells, the money goes in the bank. I just asked if I could buy myself a piano with the money. I had worked on building that house for 2 years. All of the money went into his bank account. Nothing was under my name. I got a piano and I got a free house to live in. And I got groceries. So I found myself divorced at age 44 just 5 years ago, and within just a few months I was living in my car while he made about $250,000. He would eventually quit that job so that he wouldn't have to pay alimony and child support. He has only paid alimony one time ever in the 5 years since we've been divorced. Once ever. Right after my divorce, I remember being really confident about my ability to get a job, so I put together a resume. I remember one of the first interviews that I had as a management position for a windshield company, similar to the one that we had run. And the man actually laughing as he was interviewing me, like he was really sympathetic. He wasn't being a douchebag, but he was laughing. And he's like, so let me get this straight. you helped manage your family windshield business with your husband, but you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, and all you did was like the marketing and the hiring, firing, and some of the strategy for the business. But it became really apparent that I needed so many more skills to have any type of management job. I couldn't even like work the basic computers. He told me in the interview, please don't apply for any more jobs like this. You are not qualified at all. You're not capable of doing this unless you go back to school and get your degree or get some different experience. And so I ended up, my first job after my divorce was $11 an hour, 4 hours a day, working as an assistant to a school teacher in an elementary school. I made $44 a day. For 24 years, I lived in $1 million homes. I vacationed all over the world. I spent my summers in Hawaii. I could buy myself $500 jeans, diamond tennis bracelets. We had boats and RVs and whatever I wanted. And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat, whether or not I could buy myself a fucking jug of milk and a loaf of bread. So I had my 5th surgery in 2 years, 2 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to be in bed resting, and I can't because I worked 7 days a week since my divorce 5 years ago, which is why I'm covered in paint and looking like crap. We actually have a 4-day weekend here in Tucson, and since my partner isn't working, he's working on furniture flip partner projects with me. I have no retirement. I have no savings, no education, no resume. I was almost a straight A student throughout all of my education. I went to college at age 17. I had dreams for my future. I'm working so hard to get myself out of just perpetual side hustle hell. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. Why I didn't have a fucking backup plan. Why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship. Why nobody told me to put money in the bank. Why nobody told me, don't have babies until you have an education and some experience. Don't have so many kids. I wish somebody had told me to put my name on our vehicle loans and to put my name on our houses. I wish somebody had told me that it's okay to put those babies in daycare for a couple days a week and go to college and have a job. And I think I need to do an entire like trad wife sequel, because you can be happy and rich and loving your life like Ballerina Farm until the guy walks out. I want you guys to imagine for a minute, even rich Hannah, if Deanna walked out, if all of his financial backing and he had to sell the farm, and then what does she have? Find another rich boy to marry? I just don't want one more woman to DM me, comment, send me their stories, cry to me about how hard it is for them to support their families, and I am so tired of living my own story. We have to make this stop. Raise your daughters to be financially independent. Focus on their futures and educations just as much as you focus on your sons. I wish that someone had done that for me.
The saddest things I see is as soon as a woman is with a man, and she could be a stay-at-home mom if she wants, but you can never depend on a man, even if you're married, and think you're not gonna work. And you want me to tell you why? If a man is making money, that's great. But as soon as he leaves you and he takes all his belongings, what do you have for yourself? You didn't study anything. It's been 20 years. You haven't worked. Stop depending on men. You're depending on men when look at the last 10 men you started dating. You're still single, right? Because you can't depend on them when it comes to your money. A lot of you women make this mistake. Stop depending on people to make money. Go work, go hustle, go get yourself an education while your husband's working, get an online education. Stop depending on them in a relationship. Become independent so in case, God forbid, something happens, you have a backup plan. A lot of y'all, you end up with no backup plan. Stop letting men take the lead. Y'all got to do some work too, because in your future, it matters. You want those kids to have everything, and you don't have to depend on the man. Some of y'all depend on the man. That's cool. But as soon as he leaves and he takes his stuff, what are you going to do? You're going to be homeless. So be careful. Start making yourself an independent woman. Become intelligent. Become the CEO. Don't fuck around and let these men take over your life, and then you have nothing. You have nothing.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Remember, I preluded reasons as to why it's getting difficult, especially in today's society, to just have traditional wives because of many societal things which are going on, which are shaping the lifestyle, the family structure, and just everything. You know what I'm saying? Now, amongst other things that I talked about, the society is subject to change. There is the dynamism that comes with the society, be it family, be it work, be it gender roles and everything. Things changes, And bearing that we are living in a capitalist society, it's so hard like to maintain the traditional lifestyle where wives were remaining in the house and then men were going to work, as per what I know. But some places in this continent, like still some places in Africa, especially in the rural areas, this is still happening. Men are waking up in the morning, leaving wives at home to go and work, right? Now, today things are changing, and a number of things might happen which might push our traditional wives to not become traditional wives again. One, some are voluntary, some are involuntary. Some are caused with reasons that are unpreventable. Some comes with reasons that can be preventable. Amongst the reasons that I'm going to be discussing with you is lack of financial independence. Now, by relying solely on their partner's income, many traditional wives may not accumulate savings or develop career skills, which can which can make it challenging to find employment and earn an income after the relationship ends. Okay, because there is no skills that you have acquired that can make you to work somewhere, because all of your life you've been in the house, or maybe you quitted your job to just stay with to stay with your partner, right? So you find it so difficult to just maintain this is something that happens especially with many traditional wives, because sometimes you find that the job that was there gets to end, and now you'll start struggling, getting work, getting job, getting something to do, while if you don't have these skills, it means that you are fucked up, you got nothing, and now you'll be starting from zero, right? Cases like when the husband is deceased or something, these things affect us. And so it is just an advice: have some skills, have something that you can do. Even if you're a housewife, do something. Make sure that you are done with your routine. Always have some skills. It could be online, it could be just find something to do. This is something that can generate you money passively as a woman, right? So just find something that can generate you money passively, so that in case anything happens, you have a backup plan. Gain these skills. There's so many things that people can do online, right? You can develop your skills. Just time yourself, do your roles at the right time, and then you'll find yourself in the right position to gain other skills or other things that you can do. Number two that I came to find out is limited legal protections. Some women in traditional marriages don't have formal agreements or joint ownership of assets like home or savings. In cases where legal steps were taken to secure joint ownership, they might end up with little or no claim of these assets in the event of the split. Yeah, I know this is controversial, and there are a lot of cases that are out there that especially men are being kicked out of their property, and now men are so protective of what they own. And it's okay to be protective, but if it's rightfully as just like any other person, you need to have a security for your wife, for your kids, just in case anything happens to you. Something that has their names, especially when they all of their life they have been traditional wives. They have not been arguing with you. They have not shown you anything that can be like a red flag to you that they might want a divorce and split your property. If they've been genuinely in love and you know, the housewife that you want. This is something that you might want to do for them, out of life, for the future of your kids, for the future of your family, right? Now, I don't want to talk about that so much. The third thing that I'm going to be talking about is changing expectations. Life circumstances, ambitions, or needs change over time. When one partner feels restricted by traditional dynamic, it can lead to dissatisfaction and ultimately separation. Women who build their lives around the relationship's original terms may feel particularly vulnerable after they split. Yes, I know. Expectations change. Some men or some people might just wake up in the morning and say that I want you to go do some work. I don't want you in the house. What will you do when you are wired already? Just wake up in the morning and you're washing utensils, cleaning the children, and making the house look clean, doing one or two things, cooking. And now one day you wake up in the morning and your husband tells you that, there's a job that I've gotten for you and I want you to do this job. And this house, you're going to put a housework. What are you going to do? Right. So sometimes life circumstances changes, and it forces some family structures, family activities to also change, which affects how some activities are being conducted in these families. So still, you need to be flexible because expectation changes, right? The fourth thing that I'm going to be talking about is emotional dependency. In some cases, women have forgone social networks and career ambitions in favor of supporting their spouse and households. This can lead to a sense of isolation and lack of resources to turn when the relationship ends. Some people usually say that have a life beyond your relationship. Have friends, maybe few. Have something that you can do outside, because in case anything happens and this person was solely your everything, this means that you'll be affected big time, right? Because it was the source of everything. I'm talking about emotional dependency. It was the source of everything to you. When things go left, you're fucked up, right? Because this was your friend, this was your partner, this was your parent, this was your name it all, right? So you need to find these people, few people you can trust that have some skills that challenges you, that in case anything happen, you don't have to depend so much on your spouse, right? But it's important to depend on them, but not so much to the extent that like it's a matter of life and death. Like if you don't, it's like you're going to die, right? You know what I'm saying? The last thing and the fifth thing that I'm going to be addressing is difficult re-entering the workforce. Now, after several years of outside the job market, women find it challenging to compete for jobs or may have low skills relevant to today's workplace. I think that's self-explanatory. It happens because every day there is new skill that is needed in the workplace, and maybe you didn't add it up. Maybe the use of artificial intelligence in workplaces. You know what I'm saying? So you need to top up, or you need to game up your work, your traditional type of work, because there are a lot of things that are changing. Some people need computer skills. Some people need coding. These are things that workplaces are adopting, and you can leverage as a worker when you needed to have this in the workspace. I hope these videos have you right wherever you are. These are presented Jintuk Stories, and I'll be seeing you on my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.